Okay, I'm back. All right. So, anyways, um, yeah, I was trying to explain before that I could have signed on earlier, but I didn't, and that was mostly because I decided to spend a couple hours or so trying to fucking troubleshoot my Super Famicom. Um, why am I troubleshooting a fucking Super Famicom? Well, so probably within the first few months that I've been here, I got a Super Famicom. I got that, and I also got a Sega Saturn. But both of these systems have, for the most part, no, not for the most part, for like all the fucking part. They just been chilling. They've just been chilling there. I've never really used them. Like I kind of just got it for like for most part for the hell of it. Of course, like I intended to, play on it one day. That one day like never quite happened, but yeah, I still collected games and stuff on there. I've like not a whole lot of games, but I've collected a good few games um on there. So, um but the reason for all of a sudden like I'm trying to fucking fix my Super Famicom is that um so there's this girl that that I like, and um I'm not sure like what's going on there between her and I. um it's like it's one of those things where it's like it could be nothing at all, or it could be something, and it's just you don't fucking I just don't fucking know. So so I'm like trying to like play this, with some caution and whatnot. But basically, the gist of this is that there's this girl who, um, that I like. Me and some friends, we all went out drinking together, and at the time, going into this, like I knew she had a boyfriend. Like I was interested in her like beforehand, but just a mild fucking interest, like just like wow, like she's a cool person, and that's that. And it's like we didn't really get to talk much. So um and then I found out she had a boyfriend, and then I was like, oh well, there goes that. Hey, 0006 Mikkel, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. In a bit I'm going to be playing Pokemon Trading Card Game 2. um yeah, I was explaining about my Super Famicom issues. So yeah, okay, so that night, like we're out drinking and stuff, and going into it, like I knew she had a boyfriend, so um it was like whatever. And then I find out like she doesn't have a boyfriend. And then we were talking a lot like that night, and she just shared like a lot of personal stuff with me and all that. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, are you telling me this because, well, yeah, she probably trusts me, but also like, okay, are you telling me this also because, like, I don't know, maybe you're open like this to everyone that you're cool with and who's cool with you, like, I don't know. Like I get pretty skeptical um when it comes to things like this. So um but yeah, we talked a lot that night. And we did karaoke, and we sang some songs together, and yeah, like like it was pretty cool. But I didn't think like anything much of it or anything. Uh, and then the um, and then a few days later, I like we're talking, and because I remember from one of the things that we were talking about during the night out drinking was video games and stuff, and she mentioned like she plays Zelda and stuff. So I asked her about like what Zelda game she played, and she mentions that like she just kind of got recently like got into video games. She kind of gave me like the whole origin story about how like she went through like her like entire childhood and upbringing and everything, not playing video games, and then she became a full grown ass adult, and like finally got into video games, and explained the reasons why and all that. So she's only been playing video games for like a few years, and she played Breath of the Wild and finished it, but she's still working on like Tears of the Kingdom, and then I think she's also played like some other games here and there. Um, so yeah, so then she's like, "Oh, like, how about you?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's like it's kind of like you, but like in reverse because I played the first bunch of Zelda games. Like from the very very beginning, all the way up until Wind Waker. Like Wind Waker was like the last Zelda game that I played through, and I finished. And so she like she knows some of them. Like when I mentioned the last one I played was Wind Waker, um she knew what that one was and stuff. It seems like she kind of knows about the existence of other Zelda games, but she's just never played them or anything. So then she mentioned um that like she's like, oh, she's never played like the older games, like the ones for like Super Famicom and stuff. And I was like, oh, um yeah, like I played that one. And I told her like I have a Super Famicom. And then she was like, oh, I like I want to play the Super Famicom version. Like we should play together, everything. And I was like, oh, because the way I don't remember everything exactly that was said in what order in this conversation, because it was like a month ago, and it was like a lot of like data for my brain to process. But she but as it's like as she's telling me stuff like about like she wants to play like the Super Famicom games and whatever. And I remember like I'm telling her stuff like, yeah, I played that one, yeah, I have a Super Famicom, whatever. And it's like I didn't say these things to like because like I wasn't going to just all of a sudden be like, oh hey, like you should come over so we could play. No, like I wasn't trying to do that. Like I was just trying to give her like information where it's like, yeah, I played this fucking game, like yeah, I have a Super fucking Famicom, like just to fucking say like I fucking have one. I like I was not expecting her to just blurt out like, hey, we should hang out together and play Legend of Zelda for Super Famicom. And I was oh, okay. like I mean, not quite like that. My brain was kind of like that, but of course, like in reality I was like, oh, okay, like yeah, cool, we should totally definitely do that. But yeah, no, it was I was kind of like a little surprised to just to just hear someone out loud uh say, like they want to play Zelda together. Um and like I'm like, now I'm just like really confused like what to think of this, because it was like, it's um you know especially like because the way we were talking, leading up to that and everything else, it was like, like, are you interested in me? Like, I don't know if you are interested in me. um Especially because like I'm in Japan. This is like a Japanese woman who, she can speak English like well enough to understand. Sometimes she just, um like makes like, like little like mistakes or whatever, but I know what she's trying to say. Sometimes, there's stuff that she's trying to say, but she can't think of like the word, and then you give her the word, and then, then she's fine. But other than that, it's like, no, we've been able to like communicate with each other just fine. And but yeah, it's because like, even though like we've known each other for, I think, like almost 2 years, but we didn't really like know each other until recently, very recently. But it was like as soon as we started fucking getting to know each other, and also like as soon as, I was like, because I also didn't know she could speak English the way that she does. Like, I didn't know that she knew as much as she actually did. And it was like we could have been fucking talking this whole time. And of course, that's my fault, because it's like I'm still learning Japanese and I'm not that good like at a fucking conversational level. But she's way better at English at a conversational level than me at Japanese. So she so yeah, so it's like we could have been talking this whole fucking time. But I thought her level was like everyone else kind of. So yeah, I just, yeah, I was just really surprised, and it was like I don't know like what this means, because I think in America, like, even if you've known a girl for a bit, and you have like, like a good night out drinking with conversations, and then like you're following conversation, like all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I want to come over and fucking play video games together. And it's like, no, I don't fucking expect that to happen. Like, I'm not saying like it doesn't happen, because it does. Like I've been experienced to this myself in other occasions. I've heard other people do this as well, where you meet a person and you don't theoretically know them well enough to like, yeah, let's go over your place and do things, like whether it's um like, like even if it's just talking or just watching something, or just like straight up fucking. um it happens, but not always. Usually, most people, especially women, they're like, they're a little cautious about that. Like, if they're gonna go over like that, they at least like want to get to know you more, or hang out with you more, or something, like, just to feel comfortable. But apparently, like, she already fucking feels comfortable with me, and it's like, why? uh, like, I don't, it makes me sound like I'm I don't know, like some like untrustworthy fellow. But um I don't, it's just, I don't know, like I'm being cautious for her Like, not that anything is going to happen, but I'm like, but it's like, lady, like you we hung out like one night. You should not, um I should not be placating this. Like, we should hang out a few times, have a few more talks, and then hang out, at my place or your place, like wherever. Not just, have two conversations and like boom, like, but also, like, I don't know, that's what also makes me confused, where it's like maybe she is like interested in me, and she was like kind of like, I don't know, like looking for like a way in to like hang out with me or something, other than, um just straight up saying like, hey, like, I'm interested in you, like, let's go out or something. And that kind of brings like the next like issue, is because, like, she's a Japanese woman, and that means like they have their own like social shit. I can't fucking think of a better word, because fucking English is hard. That's what I've learned here in Japan, is that apparently English is hard. So, but yeah, but they have like their own social shit, because I can't think of a better fucking word than that. Um, but yeah, it's just, for the most part, like they have like their own like way, like rules and ways of doing things, and also like the way that they act. So a lot of Japanese women, or even Japanese people in general, but like, but in the case of like when it comes to dating and liking people and stuff like that, like they're not very forthcoming with that information, which you would say like, okay, that's nothing new, you know, like when it comes to like any woman, because like sometimes like they'll be interested in you, but like they won't say anything, because, but it's, you know what, it's for different reasons though, because I think women, at least from what I know in America, like women would like you, but like they won't say anything out of like, I don't know, some like fear or bullshit that prevents them from wanting to say something and share how they feel. Like Japanese women, like they're just not like forthcoming like that. It's like they do want to say something. They might want to say something, but maybe not yet. And it's not out of like fear or anything like that. It's like they just want to make sure first. And this is all information that I gathered from like talking to like all my Japanese friends about this. Like, oh, like, what does this mean? Like, what was, like, and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, like, maybe, perhaps, like, she is interested, but she's not going to say that yet. So, but in the meantime, like, she's going to find like a way in to like hang out in some way, instead of just being like, hey, let's go out. Like, so, which brings up the next thing, and this is like a Japanese people thing in general, is like sometimes they just don't want to be straightforward. They don't, they like to beat around the fucking bush a lot. Like, I've had conversations where it's like they're saying like all the things but the thing that needs to be said, and I have to be like, and then, I don't play that shit. So I just straight up, like, I'm like, okay, so you mean like we have to do this? And they're like, well, yeah, since, you put it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's like they try to find like every which way to say like one thing instead of being direct. And a lot of Japanese people, like, sometimes they're not very direct. with what they're saying. Sometimes they are, or usually they are, but there are times where it's like, come on, just say the fucking thing. Say what you're trying to fucking get at. Like we've been at this for like 5 minutes, man. Um, so yeah, so instead of just straight up saying like, hey, like we should, like, let's hang out, let's do this or whatever, either A, she's waiting for me to say something, or B, she wants to find a way to hang out by saying like, by saying, hey, like, let's do this, that, this thing that you just now mentioned, that you happen to fucking mention, like, let's do that, instead of like just coming up like out of fucking nowhere and being like, hey, like, let's hang out. So um yeah. um and then it's just my thing is, maybe she's not interested in me. Maybe she just wants someone to play Zelda with. That could be a completely reasonable thing. Some people just want to be friends with someone so they could play fucking Zelda together. That's it. That's that's how it works. That's how it goes. So it could be that exact scenario. Um so it's just, I'm not leaving like anything to chance. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and think like, oh, because she wants to like, like, play Zelda and chill, like that means something. Like, no, like, we're probably just gonna play Zelda, and that's that. Like, that's kind of just what I'm taking this as. But the question still is, if she is like interested in me or not. And we don't know for sure, but to kind of get closer to the answer of if she's interested or not, you have to understand like how like Japanese women like work here, because it's completely different than how shit works for American women. Now, typically for me, not even just American women, I've dated women from like other fucking countries. So it's not even like, in my case, it's not just American women, but in my case, when I've dated women either from America or from other countries, um, like, if they're interested in me, like, it's something that just happens like right a fucking way, and they fucking act on it. Um, Here, she could very much be interested in me, like, but she couldn't before, because we never really talked before. And she had a boyfriend, also, like during, for most of the time that I knew her, like, well, maybe not most of the time, but like a huge chunk of the time, because like I said, like, I've known her for like 2 years, and about, I think, like 8 months of that, she had a boyfriend. So yeah. um so the point is that until recently, like, she really didn't have a chance to like, really really talk to me, and then gain interest in me. But I don't know, maybe she was always interested, but just didn't like, didn't act on it, because that's usually been my case with like, with women, like, it's, you know they either, of course, yeah, they either like me or they don't, but like, when they fucking like me, like, damn, they fucking like me. Like, we, like, there are several steps that are skipped when when they it just goes from like 0 to 60. But here I think what the difference is that the interest is there. It is really really there, but they're but I think Japanese women are much more like hesitant to act on it. And they have much more of like a more methodical approach than just simply like, hey, like let's date and go out and stuff. um it's almost like they just, yeah, they just want to wait and see. And this may or may not be that case. They said like she may not be interested at all, and none of this means anything. um let's see. What else? What else? What else? What else? My brain's blacking out. um, so yeah, it's so the interest could definitely be there. Like, she's developed the interest, and but just being a Japanese woman means, not like, acting out on impulse with these things. Like um there's a traditional way to to do this, that I wouldn't say expected of them, but like there's examples of this that they have done or seen or something, social shit. So um I did get to see her for lunch, like just after Christmas. Like I think it was like maybe um like a couple days after Christmas. I think like we got to go to lunch, and we actually talked for like 2 hours. And from what I heard, like that's kind of a big deal because like time is really important to to Japanese people, because sometimes they have a lot of things to do. She definitely did that day, but the fact that like she gave me like 2 hours of you know of her day, and I knew like um she wanted to be there because I remember like we were like an hour in, and she was checking the time, and she was mentioning that like, yeah, she has to go because like she has plans later, but she was like, oh, I'm fine for like, you know like another hour. And I was like, oh, like, okay. So um but it could also mean, like maybe she just didn't want to like be rude and then just leave because, again, social shit. Or maybe she was really like that interested. um Also, like, we haven't really been messaging each other much or anything because I'm gonna be completely honest, Japanese people suck when it comes to messaging. Like, they fucking suck. Like, no matter who it is, like, it could be, um a girl you're interested in. It could be friends. It could be friends that you're pretty like close to cool with. It could be coworkers. It could be whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, when it comes to messaging, they fucking suck. Like, you'll message them and you don't hear from them for days. And it could be an important work thing. And you don't hear from them for like days or hours or whatever. Or then they'll like message you about like something that they need or something, and it's like, dude, You missed it. You're too fucking late. You know, like they'll message you about like needing something from something that passed. Like the opportunity passed. It's over. Like you should have said, like, if you said something fucking a few days before. But yeah, so yeah, so usually like I'll message her, and then like I'll get like a message back, like I don't know, whenever. Like it could be later that day, it could be like fucking 2 days later, like whatever. um but from what I heard, especially because Japanese people suck when it comes to messaging. um but from what I heard was like, even when responding in short messages or even like with stickers, that still means something. Because if she really like didn't want to say anything, or felt like she to say something, like she wouldn't, like she just wouldn't, like, um but the fact that, like, even putting out like a sticker, like apparently like that means like, okay, like I acknowledge, like what you said, you know. um so again, it's just, it's like the whole time thing. Like it's like the fact that they took the time, even though putting like a fucking sticker like takes a fucking second to do. But it's the fact that like they took the time, because again, like time is like very important for Japanese people, which is why, like, they're always like super serious about like fucking being on time for shit. And it's like, yeah, everyone should be on time for shit, but it's like, god forbid you're like 5 minutes late with a Japanese person, and yeah. My I have a Japanese buddy who, like, if I'm saying like, yeah, I'm gonna have people over like around 6, like motherfucker will show up around 6. Like I gotta tell him like, hey dude, I'm running a bit late. Like, because if I don't say anything to him, like motherfucker, he'll show up like fucking 5 minutes before. Because that's on time for Japanese people. If you say like, hey, come over at 6, like they're here like fucking 5:50, because that's on time. Because being early is on time. If you are on time to shit, you're fucking late, motherfucker. So yeah, Japanese people. um so anyways, yeah, so there's still like a lot of questions. It's like, okay, is she interested in me, is she not interested in me? Just in case, I'm gonna go with like the not interested. Like, she just wants to like talk and hang out and just have someone to hang out and play Zelda with, and that's that. But the fact that, like there's like a lot of like little like social cues that she's done that is associated to interests, like could be there as well. So who the fuck knows? But anywho, which leads to my Super Famicom crisis. um so we're gonna play Legend of Zelda for Super Famicom. And at the time, I did not have Legend of Zelda, so I did went out and I bought it. I bought Legend of Zelda for Super Famicom. So boom, I own it. And of course, I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna make sure like fucking everything works. So I booted up and there's some issues. Basically, long story short, there's some, like pixelation issues on the screen, and also the screen keeps blacking in and out. Like it just completely loses fucking video for like a few seconds and stuff. Um, so Using AI, because I tried to search for this shit on like on fucking Google and stuff, and it was just I just kept getting a bunch of different things. And believe it or not, like I was using the Gemini AI, and it was really fucking useful. Like really fucking useful. Um I explained my issue to the AI, and the AI was like sorry. Anyways, the AI was like, okay, so it could be a few different things, and we're gonna have to troubleshoot through all these things to narrow the shit down. So basically, eventually, after going through all its shit, um, it came down to um maybe it was like, the HDMI cord. Maybe it's something with the Super Famicom. Maybe it's dirty. Maybe it's the plug. Whatever. Eventually, I was able to clean the Super Famicom enough that it stopped doing the blacking out. Like it was like the parts where the game used to black out in, like it stopped doing that. So when I gave like this update to the AI is like, okay, well that's cool, that's great and everything, but I got some bad news for you. Um, the the fact that everything else is fixed and there's no other like it issues with anything else going on. It But the fact that there's still the graphical glitches could only mean one thing, and that one thing is one of the chips in the Super Famicom is going bad, and that's why it's causing the graphical issues. And this was after like a couple hours or so of like fucking troubleshooting, so I fucking trust the AI. Because like we like fucking tackled like anything that could be an issue, and determined like, it's not an issue after, I made sure, or I fixed it, or whatever, and this was like the only thing, and there was like nothing that I can do about it. So so what so what ended up happening was that, yeah, so one of the chips is going bad, and I can't fix it. To fix it would mean, either just happen to find that particular chip, not that's just so happened to not be in a fucking Super Famicom. Or getting another Super Famicom and like fucking, I don't know, taking the chip and soldering it or something, which might as well just get another Super Famicom then. Like there's no point. Um so yeah, it works fine. It's just the graphical glitches, you know. And so the next step, and I'm gonna have to wait till I get paid to handle this, because Super Famicoms, like, they're not crazy expensive or anything, but the particular model now, or not model, but version of the system that I need, it might be like a little bit more expensive. So here's some Super Famicom trivia that I did not fucking know. Um, the older versions of Super Famicom, and probably Super NES, but I do not know for sure. So we're only strictly speaking of Super Famicom. So the older versions of the Super Famicom were made with these two chips, called PPU-1 and PPU-2. And older versions of the Super Famicom had their systems with these two separate chips. years later, they ended up making a version of the system, and mind you, not like a new model of the system, just like a new version of the system, because from the outside, like it still looked exactly the same, but the inside was a little different. So a few years later, they made newer versions of the Super Famicom that, instead of having the two separate chips, instead you had one dedicated chip. And apparently these chips are much more reliable than the older ones. So now I have to go and I have to find these Super Famicoms, or find a Super Famicom Junior, which is the slim version of the Super Famicom. Um so now, yeah, I have to find these newer versions, or the Super Famicom Junior, because they're more like reliable. And for me to do that, I have to go to up to like every fucking Super Famicom and like look underneath, because I got to read the fucking serial numbers. And if I find the right serial number, then it's like, okay, like this is a newer version of the system, and then get that. So yeah, that's been my life the last few fucking hours. Like, it ended up all being for nothing, but at some point I had to do this. Like, I ignored doing this the whole time. Like, I was off during my vacation and the last few days, and it's like, at some point I was like, dude, it's already fucking January. Like, you need to find out if this shit, is you get this shit to work or not. And if it doesn't work, it's like, all right, well, what can you do about it? And so yeah. Yeah. So now this is the newest thing, is now I'm gonna have to like fucking go to all these secondhand shops, in which there's like a few of them, and try to see if I can find a newer version of a Super Famicom. So yeah, that's been that's my life. All for love. And you could be like, why don't you just fucking emulate it? Why don't you just play the Switch? It's on Switch Online. Why don't you just fucking play that? And um, it's just, I wanted to give her like the authentic Super Famicom like experience, like to sit there and like to actually like see one of these like old consoles, and to play off of it, to fucking use a controller for it, to have it connected and everything. Like I wanted to give her like that experience. Now, of course, as a backup plan, yeah, we'll just either emulate, or we'll have to play like the Switch version of it or something. But it's like, I don't know, I really wanted to try to give her the authentic Super Famicom experience, and this was the chance to do that. Plus, like I'm gonna need a new Super Famicom anyways. So awesome. Like, I'm gonna end up fucking having like two new Nintendo systems. Like, I mean, not new, but whatever. Anyways, I'm just gonna get ready. Alright, so yeah, this isn't gonna be a long stream. I'm probably just gonna play for like about an hour, and that's that. So I'll probably be enough time to like get another goddamn badge. I really wanted to play for like a few hours like I did yesterday, but the opportunity was there. I I got up really early today. I went out. I saw Posse, and I don't remember what his stream. I mean, not his stream, what his game name was. He was here before. Yeah, I don't remember what his name was. But he's been on the stream before. And, you know, saw them for breakfast. That got done pretty early, but then I went to the store. And I went to a couple stores. And then I think by the time I came home it was like 1. But then it's like I sat around like watching TV and shit till like, I don't know, like 3 or so. And then I decided to start working out. And then I worked out. I played fucking Ring Fit for a bit. And then I did the troubleshooting. Graveler here? May I have like 2 Gravelers, or did they just both happen to like be prizes? I saw Golem. What? Both of my Gravelers are fucking prizes? I'm double checking, man, because that's like fucking ridiculous. That both of them. Yeah. Dude, what the fuck? Alright, so I'll take a Golem. Crazy. Wait, what the fuck is this? Your active Pokemon is now confused. Imakuni wants you to play him as a basic Pokemon, but you can't. A mysterious creature not listed in the Pokedex. He asked kids around the world who is cuter, Pikachu or me. Okay, I don't want him to be weird, because if he tries to attack me, he's confused. He might do damage on himself. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, I didn't fucking Rhydon in there. Oh, I got Rhydon back anyways. Oh shit. I'm like, oops. I would have picked Golden. Not that matters, but... What? You didn't receive any damage. What the fuck? Why is it not receiving damage? Why is he not receiving damage? so glad that I use this deck and have Golem. His name is Jess. Or her name is Jess. I can't tell. Okay, I think it is weird. And he was wearing a mask. Like, I couldn't tell, but it's like, oh, okay, I guess you are wearing a mask. Alright, hold on. I'm trying to get comfortable. Alright, these pillows aren't. Oh, that's good. Gengar, when did you? Okay, that works. Ah, that's good. put energy on. I forgot that. Forgot like using it just ends your turn. She's like my favorite person here. All the fire people are really weird. It's actually kind of great. Have any more Flareon? Other than the Dark Flareon? Damn, I have so many Dark Flareons. And that's like the worst one. There were 2 energies. of a bitch. Motherfucker. Of course. But I'm wondering, like, if it just affects gonna do this battle and then I'm gonna call it. That's right, bitch. I ain't using fucking water. Remembered, like I drew a computer. No, it was Bill's teleportation. No one was talking to you. Bill's teleportation thing. I'm gonna put in my deck. I remember after this. This is good response. Motherfucker. could have sworn I got one. Alright, where are we? Oh, wait. Bro, this is the first chest that I ever found in any of these games. It was just fighting energy, like what the fuck? This is where I say I'm gonna stop for now. So I will try to do my best to be on tomorrow. I can't make any guarantees, but I don't know. Especially because like Tuesday Tuesday nights is usually the day where it's like I gotta make sure that I go to bed at a decent time. So yeah, it depends on what time I come back from kickboxing. But normally, like, I don't stream on Tuesdays because I usually have a thing every other Tuesday. So yeah, I don't know. If I can stream, I will. If not, I'm not gonna stress about it. But there's a good possibility that I may not stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably not gonna stream tomorrow. So So that being said, I should be back on Wednesday though. So I'll stream on Wednesday, I'll stream on Thursday. I should definitely be able to stream on Friday. And then as far as this weekend goes, I don't know. Like, I haven't figured that out yet. So anyways, alright. I'm gonna get going. And yeah, hopefully see you next time.